On today's episode of Full Octane Insurance Matters, we're going to answer the question, do you have enough liability insurance on your automobile policy? The state of Tennessee has some very low liability minimum requirements. That would be $25,000 per person for bodily injury and $50,000 per accident. So if there were multiple people, you could actually get up to $50,000 in coverage. That's the state minimum for bodily injury liability. The minimum state level for personal property damage is $15,000. Let's say you're driving and you broadside a Cadillac Escalade, $100,000 vehicle. You only have the state minimums. The state minimum, which is $15,000. So if that car is totaled out, that's a $100,000 vehicle. You are considerably short on coverage, and what's going to happen is your insurance company is going to pay out to the $15,000 limit, and you are on the hook for the rest. That means that you are personally liable for that additional damage if it was considered to be your fault. That means most likely a lawsuit's going to take place. Now, the other person, if they have proper insurance, will probably cover to fix their vehicle. But what they're going to do is they are going to subrogate and come back after you for the damages on the rest of the $100,000. In today's insurance policies, it's very common to see limits of 100, 300, 100. And what the 100, 300, 100 means is the first part is $100,000 per person of bodily injury liability in the event that you're at fault. The number 300 means that if there are multiple people, that it could get up to $300,000 total. So if you had 3 people, $100,000 each, that would exhaust your 300 total. 300,000 that is. The last number, the /100, is if you have up to $100,000 worth of property damage available. So if you were to hit that same Escalade, the $100,000 vehicle, and it were to be totaled, then your insurance would cover up to $100,000 worth of damage. Now, $100,000 is still kind of light in today's. I mean, if you look around, depending on where you live and what kind of cars are driving around, and if an accident's your fault, you may be underinsured. Now, what you can do to fix that is you can get an umbrella policy. An umbrella or an excess policy will allow you to increase those liability limits to $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, and what have you. Now, in order to qualify for an umbrella policy, you're probably going to have to up your liability limits to $250,000, $500,000. That's $250,000 / $500,000. And then your umbrella policy up to the first $1 million would pick up where 500 leaves off. So you would be protected up to $1 million. This is really critical in the event that you do damage somebody, you hurt them, they're out of work for some period of time. You don't want to be left on the hook to insure those out of your pocket, because that's exactly what will happen, and this leads to a lot of personal bankruptcies because they just can't afford it. So the moral of this story is the state minimums are horrible. That's $25,050 and then $15,000 on the property damage. So it does not take a medical bill very long to get up to $25,000. It does not take a damage on a vehicle to get and surpass $15,000. You are taking a huge risk by having state minimums. We do not recommend state minimums. It's just a horrible place to put yourself in the event of an incident. So minimum 100, 300. Minimum of 100, 300, 100 is what we would suggest as the bare minimum that you want to start out with if you're on a budget and you really need to stay in a budget. Our best recommendation is always 250, 500, and also an umbrella policy. 250, 500, 250 is a nice place to be in the event that you damage somebody and it is your fault. There are $500,000 combined levels, which will, meaning that you could have any number within that combined limit of 500,000. Also, umbrella policies will pick up beyond that. So this is something you absolutely need to talk to your agent about. Look at your policy right now and look if your agent has sold you the state minimums. They may do that to get you in the door at a low price, but you are significantly not protected. That is, again, is a horrible position to put yourself in. If you're trying to save a buck and you don't drive a lot and you are willing to take that risk, then certainly it's up to you at the end of the day to buy the state minimums, but we highly recommend that you don't do that. Thanks for being with us at Full Octane Insurance Matters, because insurance matters to all of us and we want to get the word out about the things that can bite you in the rear. If you have some insurance stories of your own, don't forget to reach out to us and give us that information. If you have some ideas on future videos, let us know so that we can get the information out to the masses who it can benefit the most. Also, if you have collector or exotic car insurance needs, or for that matter, homeowners or commercial needs, don't forget to reach out to us at fulloctane.com. Also, 615-669-4438. Or you can email us at info@fulloctane.com. And before you leave, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really helps us and it will let you know when some future videos are coming out. Oh wait, I almost forgot. Our legal team made me promise to display this disclaimer before we ended the video. Please take a moment to read it before you make any buying decisions.